I think that is the biggest problem around brands just throwing any old rubbish out there as ads and not having good enough content for varying different stages of like what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So like UGC for me just has like had its day. Like everyone just does UGC.
Do you think?
And it's just 100%.
Yeah.
And it's just obvious now. Oh, look at this product. I'm going to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Pull the other one. Like, you know, whereas I think most brands, particularly for me when running ads for brands, right, it's really difficult when you've got a really, really small number of like creative assets to use. So if your assets are all UGC based, instantly you've only got a certain segment of audience you can target.
Yeah.
So there's still an audience segment that will be like, yeah, they'll resonate with UGC, particularly if it's famous people, famous creators, they'll be all over it. But that's only one very, very small segment, right? So there's another segment that needs to be captured through other means of assets and media. The one, what was the brand we looked at the other day, and it was like just unbelievable ads.
It was for Vinted. Yeah.
And it's like you don't even realise it's an ad, but you've spent like 2.5-3 minutes watching it.
It looks great. There's a story to it straight away. Yeah. And with it, I remember I always skip ads, so that was one I didn't.
Yeah, you just keep watching
because it looked really good straight. I was like, oh, that looks really cool. But obviously for my brain, it's like, oh, I kind of want to emulate that.
Yeah.
Which is, but then it's such a good ad. It's really good.
I don't think enough brands do it though, because for me there was no direct marketing in that ad. It was like a storytelling feature piece.
It's passing on your clothes so other people can have a story. So like the resonance of the ad at the end is obviously as signposting the business that they want to obviously consume with, but the front end of it is very much around like you have no idea what this guy's doing, just running around. It's like where's this guy going? What's he doing? Why is that thread? And you're just immersed into it. And this is, I think, the biggest thing, particularly for eCom brands, right, is they don't do enough of that. They don't do enough of that front end storytelling. It's basically buy my product, buy it. What's the reason why people do that then? Why do you think is it still not a message out there that people need that kind of thing?
I just think people jump on the waves, right? So I think people just jump on the latest trends. So UGC became a trend. All of a sudden, everyone just uses UGC. TikTok Shop has driven a lot of that as well. So people are standing with a £10 B&M ring light and just trying to sell stuff. Yeah. But and as much as I sort of dismay it, there is a place for it, but it's a very small segment. If your whole marketing budget is invested in UGC creators, influencers, and all that sort of stuff, you're only ever going after a very small segment, because there's a big part of the audience out there will not resonate with it at all. Yeah. They'll see right through it and they won't capture them. There's audiences that need storytelling aspects that we just spoke about then. There's audiences that will resonate more without video. So they'll want like static images. They'll want maybe demographics. They'll want the sort of infographic type style depending on the demographic that they're in. Then there's UGC, which obviously has a place. Founder stories. Why more brands don't do founder stories?
Yeah,
don't get it.
I was trying to get a client of mine to do that because it's just so good.
Unbelievable.
People love that. There's someone I know. He's got a business called Rugby Buckets. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
He's amazing at that.
Yeah.
He's even with his emails. It's Jack from. He's very much This is founder led. I'm very he talks about his story all the time. Yeah. And it's really good. And it's doing really well for him because he's selling out.
People become so invested in it, right? Because all of a sudden you're not buying from a name. Yeah. Like a logo or a badge on a garment and whatever it is. You're buying into their story, why they do what they do. Yeah. The best one for me, and they just kind of, I think, set the trail, is George Heaton, Represent. Yeah. Just his whole piece around, the business was doing unbelievable numbers, really good. I know they had a bit of a sticky patch when they got into COVID because they were heavily dependent on retail, like Harrods and all that sort of stuff. And wherever else they were selling. But then the whole 247 element, which is basically, it's like a brand within itself, that has just blown up because of him. He wants to run. Yeah. People are doing running clubs. Like he did a run club in like New York, and there was like thousands of people turning up. Mad. They're a Manchester-based brand. Yeah. Like, it's mental.
But it's really, their clothing is good though. That's the thing. Their product is good.
And that's the key thing, I think. And this is where I think there's a lot of distrust in the market as well. And this is where UGC, I think, it really does have a part to play in this. The whole influencer culture, getting Love Islanders I fell into the trap. And when I was running the brand, it was like, right, who are the biggest, most popular people that we can get access to now? And the issue for like most brand owners is these people are far more accessible because of Instagram than they ever would have been before.
Yeah.
You can literally message them. If I send you a top, will you post a photo? And they'll come back with you with like a price list. It's like, I'll do a post for 500 quid, do a video for £1,000. And we did it. We like started throwing money at these influencers. Absolutely nothing happened.
Got nothing from it. Not even
nothing at all. No.
It's got to move the needle a little bit, isn't it?
Well, I think for me, there's it can work well if you have lots of different connected parts. So the connected parts for me, are they even your typical customer persona, right? So what I mean by that is if I identified an influencer and their target kind of, most of the people who follow them are the same demographic that I'm selling my product to. So let's say, for example, argument's sake, I run go back to the point where I'm Jack, right? So I sell rugby tops. Let's say I do customized rugby tops. So my demographic is going to be people who are interested in rugby, or maybe like 18 to, let's say 45, right? So let's just keep that segment there. 18 to 45, let's predominantly go male, even though there will be female audience. Let's just go male. So now we know our segment. That's just taken us like 10 seconds to do. Right? Brands don't do that. They'll just go, they won Love Island. Let's go to them.
They got loads of followers.
They have no resonance with rugby. They would get murdered on a rugby pitch.
Yeah.
So there's no respect from the people you're then selling the product to. So you imagine you're going for a Love Islander in this rugby brand. They did a lot of videos. Who's seeing that? Well, like 21-year-old women.
Yeah.
And this is where brands just that disconnect. It just doesn't work. It has to be more focused. So if you're going to go down that route of influencers, paid creators, even not just UGC either, just general video content where you're going to use creators and actors, they have to represent the brand. If they don't represent the brand, it's not going to work. That has to be there. But the founder bit, I don't know why more people don't do it.
Yeah, I think everyone can benefit from doing that, can't they?
Do you think it scares them though? So from your perspective, as a
100%. I did a job for someone not that long ago, and I wanted to get him involved quite a bit, so I got him on, and he made me remove everything with his face on it because he doesn't like the way he looks.
Really?
I'm like, I get that, I understand, but also at the same time, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what you look like, really. No. To be honest, nobody really cares about the way other people look.
No.
They care about themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's like you're now stunting yourself a little bit by doing that.
Exactly.
Because it was like a lot of content that I made for him, and he's just like, it's like, well, 3/4 of this can't be used now.
Yeah.
And you were there on the day, and I told you what I was doing.
Yeah.
And you've decided after the fact.
I don't want to use it.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is the part around, when you're trying to build out a content plan, a content strategy for a business or for a brand or for an individual, even personal brands, like you have to try multiple things to see if it works. Like for me, with any clients in an ad account, I'll go, for example, recent client going in their ad account, they've only ever run statics. Right, and they've had a degree of success with that. I mean, the structure in the ad account was a mess, but that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah,
to go through that. But they'd never done any video content. So then all of a sudden you start looking at, right, what video content can you drive for them?
Yeah.
What does that video content need to look like? So is it going to be product-based photography, kind of video imagery, bit of sort of AI type stuff? Are you then going to do founder-led videos? Are you then going to do maybe some creator-led videos? There's all of a sudden there's these different segments opening up, and the way I was trying to explain it is everybody consumes media differently. So I'm not a massive fan of user-generated content. I'm not, but I love the storytelling stuff.
Yeah,
and I really like the founder-led stuff. So the Welsh girl who owns Hair Syrup, her content's brilliant, right? Really, really good. George Heaton, brilliant. But it's because it's so raw and natural. My view is when you open up these different segments, you open up different personas. So if you imagine it as like a walkway with all these doors, if there's like 4 doors in a walkway and all you've ever run is static ads, you've opened one door.
Yeah.
The other 3 doors are shut, right? If all of a sudden then you start doing some family videos, you open up that door. Then you do some product-based videos, you open up that door. And then that just floods more customers in because of the way people consume the media. Most people will scroll past an ad if they can see it's an ad. Buy one, get one free, buy, go. Especially this time of year, coming to Black Friday.
Yeah.
We're all about to get absolutely hammered by stuff. But if you're more invested in that video type content, you'll sit there and you'll watch it. You'll resonate with it. The algorithm will hook you in, and then that's how you keep. And I think part of the problem I see with clients with the founder-led angles or with the more brand awareness is you can't calculate an immediate return on the investment.
Yeah.
So brands, whereas if you go, well, like the perception is I'm going to pay this person, create a £400, they're going to create 10 videos, I can whack them on a Facebook ad in like a week's time, and they'll be generated towards conversions. The founder-led stuff isn't like that. It's about kind of bringing people into the brand. But I think over the long run...
Yeah, it's harder to get people there, but it's more active users, I suppose, and active customers than it is somebody who recognises someone's face that's on another T-shirt that he's seen on 4 or 5 different other posts in the week. Yeah, it's like, oh, who's that? Yeah. And it's like it might take a series of videos to get them on side, but once you got them on side, they care way more.
Exactly. That's the burning the bit for me, right? So many brands that we're going into like the content side of things now, and really getting into what type of content brands need in this day and age, why it's so important, why there needs to be variability, why there needs to be more variation, why. And that is like so important. But then the factor is like, what are you creating content for? Are you creating content from an acquisition perspective? So bringing new customers in. Are you doing it to convert existing customers? Or are you doing it to retain your existing customers? Because there's 3 different parts there that require 3 different levels of content. Your acquisition needs to be very much around brand awareness. Who the hell are you? Why should I care? Why should I stop the dead scroll, right? Conversion. Am I invested in you enough that I trust you to buy something from you? Yeah. Have I seen enough of your content that actually truly resonates with me? And then from a retention perspective, how do I keep following you because I'm invested in what you post out? Yeah. The content for all of that is all very different. There's 3 different buckets there of content that to be created that are very, very different. But brands will do one, they'll activate themselves in one space and only stay in one space. So it'd be brilliant at going to get new customers, but they won't retain them. Yeah. May not even convert them. It'll be like the video you share in the group chat, but you never do anything about. Yeah. And that's the bit that I think people need to get better at. Yeah. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I know what you mean. It's I like saying about different content funnels and stuff like that. And like UGC is so huge. Like TikTok has been such a massive influence on selling products. And it's like we almost lost TikTok as well. Yeah. Remember that? We did. So that's another avenue that people are putting so much time and effort into one way of selling something. Invested, in my opinion, way too much time. Yeah. I see these are like the difficult conversations you have to have with clients, right? And it's like people follow trends. So TikTok just became this huge hype that everyone jumped on. And then what happens is it diverts attention and focus away from a channel that might be working well. The amount of clients I've spoken to who have very, very good, strong meta ad performance, so they're able to acquire customers profitably, to almost to a degree that it's predictable, albeit some may be seasonal, product dependent, varied things like clothing brands, for example. The weather changes in the UK like daily, so that has a big impact. But more often than not, they have a very good, clear understanding of what their acquisition strategy looks like. So, we're going to make this much of an investment this month to get this many customers at this cost, which is profitable. So their CAC is all good, the cost of acquisition. But then what I always struggle with is, we want to start doing some TikTok ads now. It's like, okay, none of your content's suitable for TikTok. We'll just run it anyway. No. Doesn't work. There is certain pieces of content for certain media platforms. The other one's Snapchat. We want to run some Snapchat ads. We've seen our competitors doing it. Okay, but your competitor's been doing it for a while. They haven't just started it, and they're actually testing it at maybe a small level of volume.
Is that the ads that I always see when you're clicking through like some famous guy's story?
Yeah, and they'll just jump in between.
Yeah. Do you want your ad squeezed in between like a disgraced YouTuber?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Someone who's just been booted out of Big Brother.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I get it though, it's selling, but yeah.
But again, to that point though, right? So if you've got a really highly polished video, so let's say you've just done a really highly polished video for a brand, right? Perfect asset, ready to run on Instagram, ready to potentially do some like YouTube stuff with it maybe, but good solid piece of brand awareness. If you try to run that on TikTok, it's going to bomb, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we've paid for the video, we may as well use it. The amount of times I have that conversation
with
clients, Oh, we spent £3,500. I hate to tell you, but you've wasted your money.
Yeah.
Like, you've literally gone and paid £2,000 to some sports star who hasn't even spelt your name, brand name correctly on the post they put up. They've not even used, like, the most latest product that you wanted them to. It's just all these variables, and this is where I think most founders get so frustrated and stressed. I used to. It used to be my biggest frustration, dealing with creators and influencers, because you know as a business owner what you need to get out of it. So if you've just made an investment of, like, let's say 2K, 5K, whatever the number is, you know what needs to come back to make that worthwhile. So you're constantly chasing your tail with that. And one of the things I say to founders now is, you shouldn't really invest any form of money that doesn't have at least a segment of guarantee back.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, if you're going to spend £1,000 on a piece of content, you should be really clear in terms of what that content needs to look like, why you think it's going to work, where it's going to resonate. Yeah. At least then it's more of I suppose it's still a gamble, right? Everything's a gamble. Yeah. But it's more of a validated risk.
Yeah, and you've got to work with the people who's creating that content as well. You can't just... I mean, creative people are great, and we're good at what we do, but we also need your input as well.
Yeah.
What has worked in the past, what hasn't worked in the past. Like, if I'm doing... Like, I've got a campaign coming up next year, hopefully, and my whole plan is, if we're going to do, like, 3 or 4 days, is how much variation can we get in that 4 days? Yeah. I want to get... every piece of kind of content that we can get in that, so we can, because it's quite a new business, so we can figure out what's going to work.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be a waste of time, because it's all going to go on its own social media and stuff, and we're going to plan it meticulously so that it does work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then there's something has gone awry. But it's the planning stage of it,
Yeah.
And it's the really thinking about it, and not just jumping on trends. Okay, this trend has done really well. I always see it, and it's like a new sound or something, and
I hate it.
So you might get. I don't know what you would get from it, but I see it's like accountancy firms do it. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
What is the point in that? That's not for you.
No. And this is the thing, right? So there's still this. What you're effectively talking about there, right? It's like people being obsessed with going viral.
Yeah.
Virality does not result in any form of increased revenue.
Chlamydia's viral.
Exactly.
Nobody wants that. Yeah.
Nobody wants it.
It does really well, actually. Yeah. It's got great reach.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, it makes absolutely no sense. Your point on the variability though and testing. This is where I think more brands need to, like, to an extent, get off the soapbox. Like the amount of times I have creative assets for a client that they've created or they've paid for to be created, I'll always do an audit and an assessment of what I think can work, what it can't work, based on market, customer persona, what I'm trying to look at, what I'm trying to target, and ultimately to make sure that their money's well spent, right? And so we get a return on investment. And there's always that difficult conversation where I've had it recently with a client. They've sent me like 25, maybe 30 videos.
Videos.
I can use 2 of them.
What in the other 28 maths? What in the other 28 didn't work? What was wrong with those assets?
So for starters, I think the key thing with me is the brief that we were working to was we want to do more brand awareness stuff. We want to do more brand awareness videos around what the product is, what it does, benefits, features, really kind of, but moving the needle a little bit more towards like, why should you care? Because they're in the health space, right? Okay. So perfect time to sort of get into that now and to really build up some momentum in advance of the new year, because come January everyone's on a diet, everyone's doing the gym.
Get in the mode.
Time. So it's almost like between now and going through that busy Black Friday, Cyber Monday, weird period anyway. I'm not a fan of this period at all. I love brands love it, right? But it's just,
why not?
Because it's just discount heavy. Everything is just so discount heavy,
and there's not much profit being made on for anyone. It's just maybe getting customers in the future.
Not unless you do it properly. Yeah. So I sat down, jumping like into the 4 different stories. Sorry, but like I sat down with a client last week to go through Black Friday, Cyber Monday planning. So we've done preliminary planning in advance of September. So we always try and do things really, really early, because what I found with brands is the longer they wait, then they get into November and all of a sudden it's like, I'll tell you what, we'll just do a 30% discount. It's like, okay, what's your margins? Why? There's a reason you don't sell at 30% off throughout the rest of the year. Yeah. Because you need to hit your margins. Don't worry, well, it's fine, because once they bought once, they'll come back. Oh, okay, what's your retention strategy? Oh, we haven't got one. Do you send customers emails? No, we haven't. It's like, come on. So, you know, and there's just this, we'll just hammer loads of ads, run a really high level discount, and then basically cross our fingers and hope for the best.
You've got to farm for their data, though, haven't you? You've got to get their data so that you can resell.
It's nurturing, right? Yeah. So a lot of it at the moment, for me, around this period of the year, your acquisition costs go through the roof. Like running ads on Facebook over the next... I was talking to a client yesterday, and I said, we've probably got another 2, maybe... I would say max 2 weeks, right? Because we're like beginning of November now. We've got another 2 weeks for the CPMs just go through the roof, right? Yeah. So your cost per reach is just going to go through the roof, because everyone is going to be spending money on the platform. So which means the auctions are more competitive. There's lots of different reasons as to why it'll go up, but traditionally it goes up. So, I mean, some brands I was working with last year, they like CPMs were going up by like 30, 40%. You got to factor those numbers in to what your margins are. And if you don't, but most brands won't. Most brands will just be like, right, we've decided, let's increase the budget by £500 a day on Facebook, or let's spend an extra 50% revenue through. And it's like, okay, we can do that. Now, fundamentally, they get final say, right? I can only give advice and guidance, but there is their money. They will, if they're like, no, we want you to do it, then you've got to do it. But for me, it's all about, you've got to be profitable. Right, so coming back to the point earlier, using the right assets, using the right kind of videos, the 30 plus videos that were created, and I can only use 2 of them. The reason I can't use the other 28 is because they're not giving me the kind of content and context I need to run the campaigns I want, which are basically nurturing campaigns and educational based campaigns. The other 28 are essentially, buy this right now.
Yeah.
You know, buy this right now. Don't get me wrong. Could probably run a split test on 6 of them, 6 of the worst, the least worst.
Yeah.
During maybe like, you know, Cyber Monday period, like, you know, over that weekend, I could maybe blast them out then. But are they going to do much in terms of nurturing customers? No. Do they educate around the product? No. And to me, you know, the sort of supplement space is an industry that needs more education. And I think brands that still go heavy on the creative of buy this right now, are they doing very well? Probably not. Are they getting hammered in the press? Yes. So just be careful. Brand that I think are doing really well at the minute, and whoever's running their marketing's absolute fucking genius, it's Grunz. Have you heard of them?
No.
So they're basically vitamin-based gummies. So it's really interesting. So they've kind of jumped on the gummy hype that everyone was getting battered for in the summer. A couple of my clients got hammered on that. And this is part of the kind of recovery period for that, is go back to brand awareness, go back to, don't just push a higher level of discount like some are doing, because all that does is increase more complaints, more issues. Like, actually address the problem. The problem was around, you know, credibility. Address the problem with credibility is get more brand awareness stuff out there, get more educational content out there. These content as well, right, it's really not difficult to create.
No.
But to your point earlier, getting founders on camera, it's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
But Grunz, their whole marketing is very much around the benefits, who it benefits, and they really play on that kind of parent-child kind of nurturing type piece. So, you know, good for your kids.
Yeah.
You know, your kids are not eating greens and veggies. It's like, there's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
So now just give them this gummy bear.
Yeah.
Away you go.
That is convenience, isn't it? Quick fix. And it works.
Any brand that can fix a problem conveniently, at a cost that's suitable, and to multi-markets, £100 million brand.
Yeah.
It makes it sound easy. It's like, oh, well, if you just do these 4 things.
But it's like there's so much out there. And it's so many different avenues and so many different products, and like how it's getting that unique product that's going to sell. Yes. Or not even unique. How many creatine pills are there? It's like loads. But it's just like make yours slightly different, maybe beat them on price a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but it's interesting when you see brands go the other way, though. So when you see brands going, well, actually, we're going to be the most expensive in the market.
Yeah, because we're better.
Yeah, and then instantly that just shifts the demographic of we're not actually trying to target the bargain hunters. We're going beyond that to the professionals with who have got more disposable income. That's the kind of market we're going after. But what I see all the time with brands like that is they go, right, we're going to be the most expensive. Our packaging is going to be really, really good, and they focus on all these like little nitty gritty bits of they'll spend loads of money on a website that looks like it was designed by Bill Gates. It's like, God, like, is he even? I don't think he's even good at building websites. But they go all into that. But then their messaging's rubbish.
Yeah.
Their messaging doesn't actually resonate with the market they're going for because there isn't that connection. And this is where your point is, right?
Yeah.
How do you need to get a brand that's really clear on what the problem they're solving, what their positioning is, who their market is, what the personas are, who are they going after, who is this product for?
That is the big one.
They don't do it.
That's the one that I find people find the hardest. If you can tell me it's every 18-year-old, that's awesome. Yeah. But it's when a product is so broad.
Yeah, it's too broad.
It's really hard. And why? Why are they the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's the whole who's your target demographic. Well, that's your job. We need you to find that out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that wasn't in the brief, but I've had that from clients before.
It's not though.
It's not.
Because you should know why you started the company. You should know why you started the business. Was there a pain point, or are you just looking for money? Because if you are just looking for money, it's probably not going to last that long.
No, exactly. It's going to die in its ass.
You need to have a reason why you're doing something.
That's the biggest thing, right? Why did you start it?
Yeah.
Who did you start it for? The brand I always think of, right? And it's like, maybe it's because I've got the kids and stuff, right? The guy who invented Trunky, the Trunky on Dragon's Den. So basically they're these little plastic kind of suitcases on wheels.
Oh yeah,
and they come
in
different style, like monsters and whatever else. So he designed and built that because he was just stressed with his kids at the airport. It's like,
that's amazing.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
amazing. Like a pain.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm going to go and create something for me. I think he might have built a couple of prototypes, tested them. Other people have asked for them, so you've created that demand and urgency. All of a sudden, you've got a brand that people want to invest in because people actually share the same problem.
Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it? A bit stressed in the airport with your kids.
But a 21-year-old girl going to university has absolutely no interest in a Trunky, right? Because she doesn't have the pain problems of a child in an airport.
Yeah.
So when you're faced with who you're marketing to,
I would use that to be
everybody. the new clutch bag. On wheels.
Yeah.
On a night out, just wheel yourself home.
Yeah. Love.
Give us a push.
Yeah.
Save stealing the trolley.
Yeah. Just live downhill. Hopefully you do. Yeah.
I don't know what the steering's like on it, but the point, you wouldn't go and say, right, market my product to everyone. You wouldn't. You'd say, right, I need to market people who have got nursery age children. So this is the other bit with clients I always try and get is go that level deeper again. So who buys this product? Women. Okay. What women?
Or mothers.
Older women.
Yeah.
Okay, when you say older women, what do you mean older women? In their 50s. Okay. So no 40-year-old women. Oh yeah, no 40-year-old women would wear this.
40 to 50.
Okay. Yeah, and you just like dig.
Yeah.
And then you arrive at the conclusion that actually what they're targeting is stay-at-home mums or grandmas who have a responsibility for children, because what they're actually selling is health benefits for kids. So it's like all of a sudden, great, you've now got your demographic.
Yeah.
And you make those adjustments and changes in things like an ad account, where you go, well, actually at the moment we're targeting everyone 18 to 65, because all the eCom bros on YouTube say, go broad, bro, target everyone, bro. Fucking idiots. All of a sudden you tighten that up.
Also got the same haircut as well.
Broccoli hair, mate. Yeah. Broccoli hair.
Yeah.
Love it. Broccoli hair.
Wearing like a puffer jacket a little
rented
bit.
Lambo.
Yeah.
Dickheads. But all of a sudden you tighten that up. So now all of a sudden you've got a demographic which is 40 to 50-year-old women. that stay at home, guess what? The content plays to them as well. Content stuff that they engage with. All of a sudden, boop, you're flying.
What time do they wake up? If it's like a young mother, early in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that kind of familiarity with the brand then, because the content is very much played to them and their pain points, they'll keep coming back. They'll share it with their friends. I always say the best, if you could create a brand, like I'm always itching to create a new brand because I'm obviously being brand side, now not brand side. And there's always this like lean to go back.
When you do, I think it's going to be completely different.
100%.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it'll be. I don't know what
clothing
industry.
Again?
I don't know if it'll be clothing, jewelry, supplements. Don't know. But I know one thing I do know is target demographic already. Yeah. So I just need to find a problem to fix for, again, that kind of stay at home or that, not necessarily even stay at home, like, young professional woman with a family who needs time back. So it's going to be something in that space. Because what I find with that demographic, with clients that are in that space as well, the amount of social proof that you can gain very quickly on ads, on content, because they share it with their friends. They comment on it. They tag people. They're more active than males on social media.
Yeah, women are, I don't know what it is now, but like they are something like 60-70% of the e-commerce is from women.
Yeah. And it will be.
Always shopping, isn't they?
Well, it's always shopping.
Women be shopping.
Always shopping. And it's the fact that they will share actively in like a group chat, and there's more of an active display of social proof from women. If you look on any ads on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and you scroll through the comments, like, it'll take you a while to get to 10 men, unless it's specifically advertising something for men.
Marketing is very female heavy.
Yeah.
Because they probably know how to sell.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot of the buying, I suppose. I mean, it's good though. It's good that they've got such a, not a stranglehold, but they're in the industry quite heavily. Yeah. I'm bigging you up. I'm not taking a piss. Yeah, I'm not taking that. No. I'm bigging you up. Yeah.
I know to be fair, I know I speak with them quite frequently. Who own a female-only marketing agency, and we share the same views on marketing agencies and their.
Is it the same one I'm thinking of? Well, they were a female-only.
So they're only female-only. So they're really good. To be fair, they're really good at what they do, which is not. Something I say often about marketing agencies.
No, a lot of them are
snakes.
Rubbish and snakes. Yeah, they're snake oil salesmen who just want to take your money and don't care about this kind of thing that we're talking about. They don't care about those four reasons. No. Yeah, they just want money, and I'll throw the same old shit that I throw at everyone else at.
Yeah, what worked over here for this client who isn't quite at the stage where they're going to start realising we're shit. We're going to now start doing that with you. When they start realising this shit, it doesn't matter because we've already got your retainer.
Yeah.
And then when we kind of get you going, we'll go and find someone else. And then there's this constant cycle of monopoly.
Screwing those people over.
All the time.
Ruining their businesses.
All the time. We nearly lost the business, mate. Like literally, I would say we were probably maybe 3 months out from losing the business.
Can I ask you a question now? You don't have to answer it.
There you go.
We won't say the agency. What drew you to them? How did they sell? How they sell to you?
So I think, and this is not just for me, I think this is most e-commerce founders, even I speak with now, all share the same problem, right? So I think there's this natural assumption that if you want to build your business or you want to accelerate your growth, hate that phrase, if you want to get bigger, you need an agency. There's this kind of like, surely you have to. But and to an extent, maybe that is true. But for my own personal circumstance at the time, we were doing good numbers. We were doing 10, 15K a month. Didn't have a clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
Like literally started a business because it was lockdown and why not? There was no like logic, rhyme or reason to it.
But you've always been into fashion as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, fashion obviously always played quite a big part. And then I think it kind of massively blew up over lockdown. So it just felt like the right thing to do. Biggest learning curve ever, supply chain, sizing, all these types of things that you don't think about. But marketing was something that I started to really lean into. So running the Facebook ads, setting up the emails, building the website. Absolutely bloody loved it, right? And all of a sudden I was like bit by the bug of like, I really like this. I was quite fortunate that with Dan, who was running the brand with me, he was very much heavy on the creative side of things. So that was never been my strong point. That's your strong point, obviously, but that's never been my strong point.
Yeah.
But the bit for me was like the marketing, and I just kept thinking, I don't think I can take this any further. So we're at that like 15 to 20k kind of sweet spot.
And he was just plateauing.
Yeah, and it wasn't quite. And you do what everyone does. You look around, you see other brands, even though those brands are like 5-10 years ahead of you on your journey. All of a sudden, you then go, oh, God,
That must have been like a couple of years, because when I did that job for you, I think it was 2022.
Yeah, 22. Yeah.
So that's. Yeah. He did really well, really quickly.
Just to get it going. We properly got going and mobilised. I would say maybe 21, early 21. Like 2020 was basically trying to get friends and family to like try stuff on and like, is it hit or miss? And more often than not, it was, hell no, am I wearing that?
Really?
yeah. You learn, didn't you? The different styles, the different fabrics, and then 2021 we got like to a proper supplier, like almost by fault that we found them. They were unbelievable. And that was like all of a sudden our change of we can really go far with this. But to the point around the marketing agency, we're at that 15k month. You start looking around, you start kind of asking around, and then was approached by an agency and just fed usual absolute waffle, which I didn't think was waffle at the time. I thought it was the best thing ever.
What did they say?
So I had 2 calls with them, interestingly enough.
Did they reach out to you via like...
I think there was a reach out, yeah. So I think they did reach out, or it might have been hit with one of their ads. I think it was one or the other. But I definitely remember having a kind of what do they call it? Discovery call or something. Which I do with clients.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's just literally just point of contact.
But the way I think, so the first alarm bell that I missed on the first discovery call, right, was they clearly wanted to close me on that call. So what I mean by close me, they wanted me to pay up the first month retainer and basically get going straight away. But this was very much for me around, like, what have you done before? Why do you think you can help me? Like, don't get me wrong, if I could go back on that call right now knowing what I know, I would never have signed with them, because I would have asked enough pertinent questions that would have made me quickly realise that they haven't got an absolute fucking clue what they're doing.
They shouldn't be taking your money straight away if they don't really know you or the business.
Absolutely not. But how many agencies you see and all these eCom bros and coaches online who are, appointment setters, closers, all this absolute waffle and nonsense, right? You don't take someone's money unless you can be absolutely certain that you can actually do something for them. I'll give you an example, right? And I don't mind sharing this. So I will take discovery calls. I will never talk about the sort of price point that we work to.
No, I never do either.
I'll never talk around. I'll never ask them to sign on. I will take as much information from them as possible, talk through some options,
email,
give them a view in terms of what the cost is likely to be, but not give a specific, because it's very dependent on what their requirements are.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? Ask people what they need.
Yeah. I would never ever say a price over the phone as well. How much is it going to be? I have to look into this.
Well, you're going to have to look at it. Yeah. And then my view is never to close on the call. My view is always to say, right, I'm going to send you a proposal based on what you've told me, what your pain points are. Yeah. I now know, and I can go away and decide for the best approach we can do. And then that proposal comes across in terms of, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to work. This is what's going to cost. And the amount of times I've done that and had feedback or taken on clients who are like, this is like ridiculous. We've never had this before. I didn't get any of that. The call I had with them was very much...
It's strong-arming you.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
We'll run your ads.
Bullying,
and it's but you need to be spending £100 a day. It's like, well, at the time we were doing, I think, £50 a day. So it's like, well, instantly you're asking me to double my ad budget, which was around the time that we were kind of getting this scarce of stock. Because there was this weird kind of juncture. It was around about the May time, I think, that we kind of came through. So we just got our summer launch stock ordered. That was due to land. So from a cash flow perspective, we were like not out completely of cash, but run low because we just acquired all this stock, right? Bad management at the time. But it was more a case of actually, a joke around saying that. It was more a case of the fact that we'd done so well with the winter collection that we had enough revenue back and profitable revenue back into the business, so we were able to invest in the level of stock. But it was our biggest ever stock order at the time. So we kind of went all in on that, held funds back for the usual kind of things. And then we had a limited level of budget left that was set aside for acquisition costs, being Facebook ads, and now potentially an agency retainer, because that was the approach that I thought we needed to take. So the call with them was very much around, I remember the call actually being, I think it was about 40 minutes long, with the guy who shall not be named, Voldemort.
He isn't doing anything
and
anyway.
The call was very much around, this is what we've done for other people, this is what we can do. And I think we got about 20 minutes, I'm no exaggeration, right? I think we got about 20 minutes into the call before he even asked me about the business.
Really?
Yeah. So before we'd even got, so straight into, we spend 3K a week with this brand and we make them 65K, and which all that stuff I see online, right?
Yeah.
Utter shite. Because unless you understand their margins, like, that sounds fantastic. You just spent £3,000 and sold £30,000 worth of product, but the margins on that might not be as as appealing as you think.
Yeah.
Or people say, well, we took them to a 2x ROAS. Who is that good? Do we even know that?
Yeah.
You don't understand their margins. You don't understand the business. You don't know what they need to be achieving. The one question he asked was, "What's your current ROAS level at the minute now?" So we were at about our average return on ad spend across across campaigns that we were running at the time was probably around about 2.2, 2.3.
Yeah.
Our break-even ROAS was 1.7, right? So I knew as long as we were above that, we were fine. So actually, we were in a profitable state. Were we in a scaling state? Probably not. Hence why we'd plateaued at around about 15 to 20K a month for the last 3 months before we had the call with them. But yeah, it took me it was literally 20 minutes into the call before he was like, so talk to me about the business then. It was like, well, this is just, like, all it is.
Yeah, that sounds like a job interview as well.
It was a bit weird.
Talk about the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to know what makes people's businesses why did you start it?
Yeah, exactly.
And what makes it different?
Well,
what do you feel makes it different? Or if you don't know that yet, like, where do you see it going? And I'd like to help find out what that is.
Well, you want to get underneath the what you're saying there is the reason behind the business, right?
Yeah.
So why did you start the business? What is it you're trying to achieve with the business? Because I've been on mine saying this. I've taken calls lately, probably the 3 calls I can remember in the last month, where I've kind of pushed the client away in a nice way, because they just after quick cash.
I think with me and you have felt like you've been screwed over.
Yeah.
Like I've been screwed over, and I've watched agencies screw people over.
Yeah.
Me working for agencies and watching it happen.
Yeah.
To customers like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we come from two very different points, but understanding the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely meet in the middle, and that's the thing. But recent calls I've taken where what's the purpose behind the brand? Oh yeah, I want to get to 10K a month. Okay, what happens at 10K a month? Because what typically happens, you get to 10K a month, then you want 50K a month, then you get to 50, then you want 100. If you're driven by revenue and money, it's not a bad thing, but you need to understand that this is not easy. Like, anyone who thinks starting an eCom brand is easy is either an idiot or they're watching too much YouTube, one or the other, right? It is not easy. It is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
It's incredibly taxing on your time. The time when I took the call from the agency, so 20 minutes we were into the call, starts to ask me, that was when my first alarm bells started to go off.
Yeah.
Because I'm sharing that I've still got a full-time job, business partner's got a full-time job. This is basically I used the term part-time. It bloody wasn't part-time. It was go home from work, spend some time with the kids, 6 p.m, then till probably 3, 4 in the morning, packing orders, running out.
Yeah.
And, it is like a second job, sleep deprived.
Yeah.
But that's the effort you need to put in, right? That first call was very much around, we can do this, we can do that. Nothing really around where we were at. There was no real questioning around what we struggled with, what our problem point was. So all of a sudden we were being pitched solutions that were effectively very blue sky. It'd be brilliant if we could
someone
do this
else's solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we did this for this brand, we did this for this brand. I remember coming off the call, we were coming towards the end of the call, and the question was, do you want to leave a deposit now to secure your space? Bullshit. Come on, secure your space. And I said no, because there was only me on that call. So Dan didn't join the call with me. And I like anything, we did everything together. We conferred around decisions and whatever else. I wanted to speak to him, and I still to this day think if Dan had been on that first call, it would have been killed straight away. We wouldn't have, because he is a lot more suspect than me with people, and I think he would have just drawn a line under it straight away. But we took the second call. The second call was, there was a lady joined us as well, so there was two of them on a video call, Dan and I, and then they started to pick out some pain points that we had, and pain points that we had were around content. Like, we couldn't generate our own content. We were doing the usual flat lays, sending off for models, but there was a promise of a proper studio shoot and all these things that we at the time felt that we needed. So fine, okay, good. This sounds really promising. Sounds like what we need. Signed, agreed, went through. The shoot, in fairness, wasn't bad. Like, I will be honest, the shoot was pretty good. I think on reflection, did it resonate with our target audience? Maybe not, but maybe that was down more towards the products that were being marketed in the environment they were in. I always think around where the brand got to before we finished the brand, that studio shoot with that product line would have absolutely fired. Like, would have been unbelievable. Right?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? This is what we've been talking about. A lot of, with content, with any kind of content, people really don't understand that settings and location have a ginormous impact on what you're watching. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've got like a futuristic product, it needs to be in a futuristic environment. It's so important. That's why location scouts get paid millions, because they are almost in control of how people perceive content. Yeah. So studio shoots are great. They definitely in their own lane, and they need to be done. But creatively, they're not there. Like, they're not creative, and they don't tell a story. No. That's why I've always struggled with them. Yeah. I can do them, but I don't ever come away feeling like, oh, that was mint. That. Yeah. I've just done a job. Yeah. But when, like, I did a creative shoot for you. Yeah. And I properly researched it. Like, to the point where we were driving in Brecon Beacons to go and film a fucking eagle. Because I just knew, because it was the logo, and I was like, I think we need that in the video. Yeah. And then I was like, how am I going to do that? But then that's what I love, because I know, I understand that it needs it, and people don't really get that. They don't. Content's content. That's what it's not though.
It's not. And
it's not.
The point I was saying earlier around, you have to have multiple different variations, because your target audience, if you've got as far as defining who they are, then well done, because that's a big step. But if you've got to that point where you define that target audience, now you open that up to say, well, what media really resonates with them. Now, studio shoots might appeal to people who are very product aware, solution aware. So if they're at the end of the scale that they go, well, I definitely need a t-shirt, then you can just throw a t-shirt in front of them and then they're good to go. Yeah. If you've got somebody at the, I would say, kind of unaware stage, or maybe they're a little bit problem aware, but they're not definitely not product aware, they need to know more around the brand. So like our kind of position was very much that we were always using eco materials. We weren't using polyester or any other crap that you get in Foot Asylum and all those sort of places. Yeah. We were always using, really, really good grade cotton, and that was always a selling point, that we were using sustainable materials. And that, again, just opened up a whole new different audience for us. So like, when going back to the agency burning us, we had that 3-month retainer with them.
And after the 3 months, it burnt you. Is that all it took?
3 months, yeah. 3 months of, so month one performance was the usual waffle nonsense of, we're just getting going, we're just doing lots of testing. And I remember saying to Dan, it was like, well, like, we'll be all right after like a month, because we've got enough retained volume coming through, so customers coming back, that it would hold our base costs stable. So like, for me, it was very much around our current retention rate at that point, about 60, I think it was about 60% was new customer acquisition, 40%, which is a fairly good split. It's not bad at all. Our challenge was, because our variations of product was running low, because we were coming towards an end of a stock profile, that if you bought a black polo and you wanted a white polo, maybe we haven't got the white polo in stock. So I started to first notice some detriment to our returning customer rate, which that made me panic a bit, because then all of a sudden your primary objective is to get your new customer acquisition up, but obviously that comes at a cost. and also new customer acquisition is heavily dependent on product availability. So it was like this perfect storm, right? Of like, we'd gone through the February and the March, which are traditionally like quite quiet months.
Yeah.
But what we'd managed to do is capitalize on all the Black Friday spend from 2021 or 2020, sorry. We'd managed to capitalize on all those new customers that had come through to go back to those customers and to kind of upsell different colors, different styles. So all of a sudden we had that kind of period in February and March that we were I think it was like 23k month revenue in the March, up from 15 previous month in Feb. So it was like going into this period with the agency into April, May, we were in a fairly good position. That retained rate was strong. So I always said to Dan that if they completely bomb on new customer acquisition, our base costs will be fine because we got the good enough retention rate that'll see us through. But then came June, and new customer acquisition is still nowhere near where it needs to be. At one point, we were up to £56 CPAs. Like target CPA cost based on average order value for us needed to be below 20. Only because, again, the stock profile didn't lend itself to do multiple upsells. When we had a full stock range in and people were buying trousers, I mean, our typical order value was £125 sometimes, right? Because you have people coming in and buying either trousers and a polo for a night out, or they buy trousers, 2 t-shirts and a gilet, or they would buy trousers. There's these multiple options they can buy. Or we had customers buying like 4 pairs of the same trousers. Just mental. But yeah, we got to the June, and I remember sort of checking in. We were promised these like weekly check-in calls, which we haven't got capacity this week. We're really struggling. I'll send you an email. You get the email, which would be a little bit kind of, sorry, we've missed some of this week, but don't worry, we'll look at it next week. Then what started to really piss me off is we got into like the mid-June, and it was, sorry, person, whoever it was, their name, forget it now, isn't working on your account anymore. They're working with another client, but don't worry, this person's there, but it's going to take them a while to pick it up. And you're just like,
that's terrible.
And you're like, no, this is not on. I was far more calm with it than Dan was. Dan just wanted to go down there and just start ripping people's heads off. I mean, the one thing for me was we did month-end accounts in the June, and that's when I was like, there's a big problem here now. There was a stock delay. The stock wasn't going to come until the end of June, which wasn't ideal because we wanted summer stock in early. That was more of a logistical challenge that we did not overcome, which was a bit of a problem, which we did later manage to overcome. But at that time, it was, as I said, it was a perfect storm. But the bit for me around where I think the agency let us down most, because they didn't take the time to understand the business, they didn't even have, I had to send them stock profiles. They didn't ask me for stock profiles, or they didn't do their own analysis to say what's the sell-through rate on these t-shirts. And we always used to say, right, these are our best sellers. And again, none of that information was obtained from us. So none of that information was obtained to say, right, one of the things I say with every single client is, what you look at the stock variation, you look at the sell-through rate of particular SKUs, where are your SKUs in terms of their sell-through rate. It's really, really quickly and easy. Like I noticed it with the supplement brand I'm working with recently, 80% of their revenue comes from 20% of their products.
Really?
But they're trying to advertise every single product. Why would you do that? 80% of your revenues come from 20% of your stock holding, which is around about 5 or 6 products, give or take. Just invest your time in those, and then slowly build up the others with upsells, emails, and all these other stuff. But they never had those conversations with us, which was frustrating. I positioned them and said, the stock profile is going to improve from July onwards. We need to see a change. The most frustrating thing for me is they'd increased ad spend by 35% in the month of June, which and I make no excuses for me particularly, because it was my job to keep an eye on this sort of stuff. Dan didn't lead with any of the operational stuff of the business. He was very much in that creative space, and he helped out a lot with logistical bits. But, finances, ad accounts, all that sort of stuff was very much my bag. And I said, they've increased spend by like 35%, which was not budgeted for. So it was the end of June, beginning of July, I signalled our intent to leave and said, you're effectively running the business to the ground. I actually went into the ad account and started turning on ads that previously were running well for us, which insanely, all of those ads have been turned off. Like, and I couldn't get to grips with why they had done that at the time. Now, bearing in mind, this is like 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
So my understanding and maturity of Facebook ads and marketing has changed dramatically over that period. This was the first very much the learning curve for me. But I knew even then, if you've got a winning campaign or a winning creative, you leave it run, you don't turn it off. But their very much approach was, we're going to shut everything down now, and then we're going to start everything back up. And I just don't think that did them any favours, because we lost the momentum on new customer acquisition. The sale throughput that was coming through from our side on retention and emails that I was running was keeping the business going. We worked it out. Dan and I sat down with the accountant, and we were going through, because we literally got to the point where it was like, we need to sit down with the guy Neil, who's doing our accounts, good old Neil. What are we going to do? Because like, we've got this much stock landing. We've got, we just started having retail conversations at the time as well. So that was a bit of a headache that we were trying to get through as well, because the retail opportunities were now representing themselves post-COVID. But the way they work is very different, very difficult to manage. So from a cash flow perspective, you're like on like 6-week lead times and consignment orders and all this other stuff. And we were, thankfully, we didn't go down that path. We were about to sign quite a good, what would have been really good for the brand at the time, but we never did it. I'm glad we never. That would have finished us off 100%. But the stock arriving, they were kind of just running the ads, and every time I jumped in and turned a new ad on, they'd turn it back off, and there was it was just weird, like whack-a-mole situation going on in the ad account, where they would kind of ramp up the budget, I would ramp it back down, and then I had a bit of a call, should we say, with the main man there. Just unprofessional, man. Just like proper, if you need to get out of your ad account, stay out of your ad account, your fucking things up. It's like, what? So I went to, Dan and said, help. And he was like, right, fuck that, let's get in the car and go down there. And I was like, that does not sound like a good idea. So we pushed and pushed and pushed, and they kind of said, fine, leave. That's the short version. The long version was there'd been personal issues that we were all of a sudden getting twined into. So people working on your account not in work because they've broken up with people. And it's like, to be honest, I don't care. That is not professional, right? Like, it makes no odds to me what's going on. You have a job to do for my business, make it happen. I think, like, I recently went away for 10 days on holiday with a family. I didn't tell my clients because I carried on working. I worked, like, they would go to sleep, I'd start work. It helped with the time difference, but that you don't let them down by sorry, I didn't do that because I was away, or sorry, I didn't do this because I had a bit of a bad throat. We all get ill, we all have issues and whatever we got to deal with, and holiday leave, sickness, but that is not an excuse for poor performance.
No, because you can always it's like you can adjust your time, and you can it's I know it's hard work, isn't it?
But the challenge, Dan, right? And we spoke about this last time. The challenge for me is, like, how do you break that cycle? Game of Thrones, how do you break the wheel? No, but how do you do it? Because the reality is that experience I had, that's not a one-off. Like, it's definitely not a one-off with that agency, I know for a fact. But even prospective clients I speak with now who are working with bigger agencies than, little old me and little old you, the experiences they get are absolutely horrendous.
I know.
Horrendous. And it's just the whole, I just, as a former kind of being brand side myself, I've been through the pain, and I think maybe that helps because I've got that level of, not sympathy, but empathy, maybe. I don't know, with brands. I know how difficult it is. I know how difficult it is.
I think a lot of brands need that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you need to be from a position where you know what could go wrong. Yeah.
You've been through it with them. You've been through that, and that's the challenge. But frustrating, but I think the big thing, you know, you and I have spoke about it, is to be different. Like be the trusted partner. The biggest thing with me, I see at the moment, is when I speak to prospective clients, and even when I speak to clients we've got now, right, is because we offer that all-round encompassing service, it just helps them so much. They haven't just got an agency doing some Facebook ads, so agencies looking after acquisition channel, the founders kind of squabbling around trying to build a website, and then they kind of send the odd email now and then. So their whole ecosystem isn't lined up properly. And I always say, like, to be successful, you can't, this is not 2017, it's not 2018. You can't just have a product, add a couple of quid to it, upsell it, bang it on Facebook and sell. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to be able to acquire customers profitably. You have to be able to convert them, and then you need to be able to retain them and extend that lifetime value. So customer lifetime value, biggest number one metric. But underpinning all of that is, how do you position yourself to the market with content? That's the biggest thing. So I always say, like, I can get an e-commerce brand from A to B, right? So recent results, client doing 20k a month, like when they joined me 90 days ago, 124k last month. Right?
Nice.
I know we can get the numbers, but that doesn't just happen. It happens because we set a process in place. 62% of their revenue last month came from email, existing customers. They're not paying for that. They're not paying for that acquisition. Their website has gone from a 1.6 conversion rate up to 4.2. That shift and change, but predominantly all of that is driven by doing the right levels of content, pushing that content to the right audience, but having that system where we're going to acquire profitably, we're going to land traffic that's going to convert, and then we're going to retain that traffic constantly and keep them in our ecosystem. So there is less reliance on constant new customers, which coming up to this period of the year now is that's where you need to be. Because if you've not spent the last couple of months building up your email list, nurturing those customers, won't have a good Black Friday. Won't have a good holiday season.